With me today is Deputy Chief Joseph Galata. To my right, he's the commanding officer of Detective Bureau Brooklyn South. To my left is Deputy Inspector Basema Rogers. She's the commanding officer of PSA 1. And Inspector Jesse Lance behind me, he's the commanding officer of Housing Borough Brooklyn. The information I'm about to give is preliminary, as this incident just occurred a couple of hours ago, so it's subject to change. I just hope you realize that and recognize that. But today at about 10:55 a.m., patrol officers responded to multiple calls of a male shot at 465 Columbia Street, which is part of the Red Hook housing development. Upon their arrival, they came upon two individuals that were shot. One of those individuals that was shot was an on-duty NYPD employee. We do not believe that he was the intended target of this shooting. The other individual that was shot, we do. In regards to the victims that were shot, the individual that we believe was the intended target, he's a 52-year-old male who was known to the department. He was shot multiple times, and he is currently at a local hospital in critical but stable condition. The second victim, the NYPD employee, again, we believe him to be the unintended target. He was across the street from where the shots were fired. He was approximately no less than 75 feet away from where the shots were fired, and he was not in close proximity of the other victim who was shot. But the NYPD employee is a 33-year-old male, and he was shot one time to his upper right leg. He was removed to Methodist Hospital, and fortunately, he's expected to survive and make a complete recovery. As far as his employment is concerned, he's employed by NYPD for approximately a year and a half. He was on duty at the time of this shooting. He started his tour to Saturday at about 10 o'clock, and he's a caretaker for NYPD. This case is being very actively investigated as we speak, and no arrests have been made as of yet. Multiple pieces of evidence have been recovered so far, which include shell casings. There's also a firearm recovered in very close proximity to where our 52-year-old victim, who we believe was the intended target, where he was shot. Video has been recovered, witness statements, as well as other evidence already recovered. As far as theory on motive and the current status of this investigation, I'll pass it off to Chief Galata from Detective Bureau Brooklyn South to speak to that.
Good afternoon. I'm Deputy Chief Joseph Galata. I'm the commanding officer of Detective Bureau Brooklyn South. Before I speak to the investigation and any other motive, I want to reiterate an innocent New York City Housing Authority worker was shot today. With that being said, we're going to need the public's help. So if anyone has information, we implore you to call 1-800-577-TIPS. It's kept confidential, but we're definitely going to need the public's help with this investigation. Our investigation is in the very early stages. We're looking at possible motives. Everything's subject to change at this point. As the investigation progresses, we will have a lot more information. But like I said, this is very early on. There are multiple motives we're looking at as this investigation goes through. My detectives have already covered numerous pieces of video. We've spoken to witnesses on the scene. And once again, I'm going to reiterate, we're going to need the public's help. If they can reach out to us, there's multiple people out here at 1-800-577-TIPS. We would appreciate it. Thank you. Questions?
Questions? You mentioned the recovery of the firearm. Do you believe that the intended target was shooting at the shooters that you're now looking for?
That's still part of our investigation. We don't have enough to say that right now.
What kind of gun was recovered?
It was a 9mm.
Any other questions?
When you said the intended target was known to the department, how so?
He's got multiple arrests. He's known to us in the 7-6 precinct. He's very well known in this community.
All right,
I know you talked about possible motives. Can you reveal any inkling of who she thinks he's?
We're looking at multiple angles. His history speaks to that he has multiple things that might be a motive, but it's too early for us to speculate what that might be right now.
Can you just describe the overall sense of, here again, middle of the morning, gunfire erupts on a city street, and a NYPD worker gets caught in the middle of it? And that's
Yeah, I mean, it's concerning. It's very concerning, particularly when you look at the number of shots that were fired. And our NYPD employee is across the street, providing for himself, providing for his family. He's in conversation with his supervisor at the time the shots were fired, and he's struck. And he could have been anyone. He could have been a child. He could have been anyone. Fortunately, his injuries are not life-threatening, but super reckless and deeply, deeply concerning. I'd also like to say we're standing in the precinct, the 7-6 precinct. This is the 4th shooting incident that occurred this year. In the 7-6, that's first 9 shootings at the same time last year. So this is a precinct that's experiencing drastic or dramatic reductions percentage-wise when it comes to shooting incidents. So not only is it unusual, but like I said before, it's deeply concerning to us.
I'm going to take one more question right over here, Steve.
Any inclination if this is gang related?
Yeah, as far as motive, the chief just mentioned that motive is to be determined, and as the hours progress and as the investigators learn more, it'll give them a much more clear idea in relation to motive. Thank you.